There we go. Oh, whoop. I put Jinku in the wrong spot. Oops. Let me fix her cam location. There we go. Is that... Oh, whoops, I'm overlapping. Let me resize me.
All of you look horribly uncomfortable in computer chairs.
I don't know, my chair's pretty comfortable.
So is mine. Mine's new, so.
All right. Sweet, everybody's in their spots. All right. Well.
Recliner.
See, that's the life right there.
Does anybody else open you flips backwards?
Yes.
Feet in the air. All right.
I would enjoy that.
Let's see. I think, Mix, you were in the Final Fantasy Grounds first, so you want to roll us up a D100 here?
Waterdeep, give it deep, I need it.
Nice one, Quick. Very nice. Let's see. 67. Let me pull up my stuff here. Oh my god, why is my KBS going so low? Alright. What is something that grosses you out? Beyond dead, people chewing with your mouth open. That sort of stuff.
People with spots on their clothing. It drives him absolutely bonkers.
Full with spots on their clothing. Alright.
Yeah, you know, like food stains, drink stains on their chest. It drives him nuts.
Okay. Alright. How about Jinku?
Slugs.
Slugs. Alright.
They're slimy. They're gross. Enough said.
Alright, alright. Zayara?
Too many eyeballs. Like eyeball monsters.
Alright.
You know what I'm thinking of. All those stupid bloodborne monsters.
Alright. Boo?
Reptiles in general, lizards in particular. They're disgusting.
Alright. And Blossom.
What was the question again?
It was, what grosses you out? What grosses Blossom out?
The thought of whatever hideous nose Boo is hiding under that mask.
Alright. I like it. Alright. Cool, cool. Alright, somebody want to summarize what shenanigans you all got into last time?
We started trying to fix up our manor and ran into lots of union bullshit. and they're trying to bankrupt us for repairs and mildly threatened us. And then we were approached by someone from the Carpenters Guild to retrieve some enchanted tools that had been sold after they were stolen from his brother.
Yeah, he's actually your neighbor.
It was implied we would get discounted work or free work
Yeah.
if we retrieved these tools.
So we went to scout out the location and rolled a crit fail. And
Yeah, dude, what the
managed
hell there?
to get hired by some other lady that is bringing in people for the event. But the frog dude knows what we looks like and is going to make it really, really hard for us to get these tools.
All right.
Does that cover it?
Yeah.
Oh, and we got the first 3 child laborers.
Oh, yeah, you did have the urchins at your place.
And the mayor said we can have as many as we want.
And you guys had also, when you did meet the lady who was kind of out in the square hiring people who didn't know what all had happened back at the place already, you guys had gotten some kind of contract work. If I remember right, I know Jinku was hired as a valet.
Yeah.
And then I think it was Blossom was kind of more of like a serving staff. And I know there were some people who I think, Zahara, you were a cook?
No.
Or were
I
you?
got hired as entertainment.
Oh, that's right. You got hired as
And
entertainment.
gave her a fake name.
That's right.
And I think Boo got hired as a cook.
Yeah, I think Boo did, and then...
And also gave her a fake name.
And Max, do you remember if you were hired as like a server or a cook or...
Somebody else was a valet too. Two of us were valets.
Two of your
I
valets?
think Boo volunteered Mix as a valet.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
That's
that's right.
right.
That's right.
And
was
I don't
fine
remember
stuff.
what great name Boo came up with for him, but it was great. I remember that much.
Oh
I
crap!
was off buying the stuff to make to roofie everybody at the party, basically.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And, yeah, and you went back to the shop and bought some kind of like sleep powder type stuff to try to knock everybody out.
Well, I think he pretty
No.
much bought one of everything in the shop.
Oh, the name is in the notes. Yay. Rill the Dents.
Real the dents. Nice one. All
Just
right.
wait until he finds out about that Boo.
All right. So yeah, so you had been, kind of contracted by this lady who was trying to hire people for this gala since it's very overbooked and they need a lot of staff. But you have, of course, the complication that the guy in charge of security there seems to already know who you are and not be too keen on you. In terms of the gala itself, so the gala at the Coachman's Guild's place is tomorrow night. And, since you guys are hired in various aspects to work there, let me give you some information about that part. So, those of you who are cooks and servers, they want you to show up at the place in the afternoon, and they'll kind of take you through the manner and where you need to be working and what you're doing, so you guys know that. Those of you that are valets, they also want to show up in the afternoon because you're going to need to be going and taking people with the carts, because you'll be bringing people in and then staying in the stables after the party starts and you brought everybody there. And then the entertainment, they wanted you to show up not too long before the party, because they do have a few other entertainment acts going on as well. But they'll want you to show up and, somewhere near close to the start of the party so you can be on call whenever that happens. So you guys still have about, maybe half a day, 3/4 of a day to figure out or, get things together or figure out what you're going to do to try to make this easier on yourself. Because that bullywug has got an eye out for you.
I forget, did we have any information on where it might be in the building, or are we still trying to figure that out?
As of yet, you do not know. You know it is in the building,
Okay.
but you do not know where in the building exactly it's kept. So that's...
This is tomorrow, right?
Yes, so tomorrow evening is the gala, the Coachman's Gala, and then the afternoon, so a couple hours before there is where most of you are wanted to show up and, start working, with your cooking, your serving, and, getting a tour of the place and where you're going to be working at. So you do have a little bit of time, because currently it's still the day before. It's like the evening of the day before, so you have tonight and then the morning tomorrow to figure out what you guys are wanting to do, to kind of prepare yourself for the heist itself.
I say we drug the food and the drinks.
Okay. I guess I'm the cook, right? Can do.
All right.
I can disguise myself. I have disguise self. If we have overnight, I can prepare disguise self for tomorrow.
Yeah,
And I was in my mask the whole time anyway.
Mm-hmm. That is true.
So if I just put on some common clothes and give my name, it shouldn't be a problem. That's what I.
I do see one problem though.
Okay.
Yeah. We drug the food and the drinks. I mean, I see some people passing out before others.
Well, that, and what about the bullywug? Because I doubt he's going to be partaking of the food and drink meant for the patrons.
Oh, we just kill him.
So here's something we could think about.
Okay.
And this is just a concept I want you guys to think on. And you too, kids. We could entertain the idea of figuring out how to possibly get in and get out without doing widespread indication that we're there. Something
What if we use the
stealth and
miscreants?
heist.
I mean, we
What
can
if-
keep the sleeping stuff as like a plan B, plan C kind of deal.
Yeah, I don't think that should be our number one plan. It's gonna draw too much attention.
What if we use the miscreants as miscreants to distract Frog Boy?
How exactly?
Miscreants trying to get into the party to scam people. Obviously, that's Frog Guy's line of duty to stop.
Yeah, I mean, if we go under the assumption that he's going to be patrolling, like, the outer area like he was when we were there, all they really have to do is cause a commotion anywhere on property, and he's going to be there.
Is that gonna give us enough time?
Well, no. We still infiltrate as workers, right? But Frog Boy's suspicious of us, so let's give him something else to worry about other than us. And that's where the miscreants come in.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I think we also need to figure out how we're going to, I guess, communicate with each other this whole time, because most of us are in other areas.
So I will remind you that at the end, towards the end of last session, when Mix was up at Corlin's Crown, the shop, Raynar had stopped by, going up the street, and talked to you, Mix, and had handed you a set of sending stones that he said, you know, if you guys ever need me for anything, like as a thank you for all you've done for him so far. So you do have a pair of sending stones that you could put to use. You also know, I mean, just you know, you also want to keep in mind how you're going to get out of here. So you know, like the place is 2 stories tall. Let me re-describe the mansion for you from what you saw from the outside. So the place is kind of L-shaped, and it's got, you know, like a 10-foot high brick wall around the outside, and like in the middle of the L, there's like a, you know, big fountain, and there's a drain in that fountain that goes into the sewers. That is large enough that you could, if you managed to get it open, could go through. So you see, we're able to see that from the street looking through the gate. The first floor, you have like one end that has all of, you know, has like the kitchens, the, you know, kind of various serving rooms and things on one end, from what it looked like, and the other end, the entire, like, both stories were taken up with kind of a large hall from what you could see from kind of the large windows that were on it. So that seems to be where, like, the main part of the gala is going to happen, as well as kind of in the yard around it too. And then above the kind of kitchen-y half of the building, there is a second floor, which you saw has a balcony on one end. It has like a little balcony that hangs kind of over towards the street. And, you know, some other windows up there you saw. You aren't sure about the interior, of course, because you weren't able to see that. But there is like a second floor on half of the L above the kitchen area.
And we would suspect then that likely the goods are going to be on the second story, correct? Is that what we assumed, guys?
I think
Yeah.
that's what was discussed last time as our assumption.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
We were
Okay,
thinking
and we have-
that they'd want to keep them away from the guests.
Okay. And so we have 2 valets. What Zyara, Jinku, what jobs are you guys?
I'm entertainment, so I'll be in the
I'm
main
a
room.
valet.
So
And Blossom?
Jinku and Mix are valet. You're
I'm a server.
cooking, and he's server. So Blossom is going to have the most movement throughout the building.
Mm-hmm.
Not
And-
much movement.
Well, you're
And we have-
Literally, yeah, the server. So it's literally the kitchen and to the party area. There's not much movement.
Well, yeah, but it's going to be less suspicious
But
to see you moving
I
around.
in that role, I'm going to be able to communicate with Boo and give signals to Jinku.
Yeah.
You'll probably be able to communicate with me as well if there are people around me.
Yeah, you would, because the entertainment would be kind of in the main hall as well, so you would be able to go between those two at least.
So, given
And I-
that, we could probably have one of the valets probably mix with one of those communication things.
Okay.
That way outside has communication. And then we would have to determine who gets the second one. And there is also possibility of Boo communicating with other people using his familiar in some way, like poking and stuff.
Pre-written, we can pre-write short things that I can give to the familiar
Yeah.
Ooh,
or something.
there's an idea, yeah.
We can, like things. Because so like the other thing, at least for what I have to offer to this, I have the familiar that I can send. It's got 100-foot range. I have mage hand, so that's a 30-foot range where I can grab things if I can get to them or see them. So I can also climb.
Oh, that's right.
Like,
Yeah, you do have
walls.
your Simic stuff. Yeah.
So
So-
in theory, we could just offering this as a possibility. If I can, I don't know where this thing is, but if we're thinking it's on the second floor, if I can somehow get to the second floor, I could climb from the outside and try and get in or something. But I'm not that.
Well, there's the
adept,
balcony above the kitchen area, he said. So you can get up to the second floor that way.
Yeah.
So I think, given that, it would make more sense for Boo to have the second device. Because Boo can then use either Blossom or his familiar to communicate with everyone else.
Was I able to get blueprints of this at all? Is there a blueprint office we can visit?
You.
It doesn't say I always get blueprints. It gives me a basic knowledge, but it says I can find the blueprints. But that doesn't mean I can acquire.
Yeah. I mean, I think I did give you like a description at least of some sort of what you were able to ascertain with that knowledge you have of architecture.
I just didn't recall that.
Yeah, sure. So you know, like I had mentioned on the first floor, you know, kind of, Coco, you're gonna bump my microphone cable.
He knows.
Cat.
I'm trying to imagine access routes to the second floor.
Sure.
Is what I'm trying to think of here.
Sure.
Because I think that's we need to get somebody to the second floor is what we need to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know, like, since the place is L-shaped, and I unfortunately don't have a map of what the first floor looks like, but so L-shaped, you know, one kind of wing of the L is mostly this kind of ballroom area. And from what you can tell from the outside, at least from like the windows and the way they're structured, that takes up most of that L. And then the other half, the other wing of the L, has, you know, kitchens, you know, perhaps some other smaller rooms, you know, not sure what they're used for, of course, but other smaller rooms. Like the kitchens are on the very end of that wing, and they do have a door there that goes outside for, you know, shipments of food and things like that. So there's a few other rooms inside. It's between that and the other side, and above the kitchens and these smaller rooms is the second floor. So assumedly somewhere in that wing is stairs of some kind that go up to the second floor. And the second floor has a balcony on the outside that is over like the end of that wing, which is near the street.
This is a manor, right?
Yeah, it's like a small, medium-ish size manor.
I would assume that there are. I mean, I would think it's a pretty safe assumption to assume that there are stairs from the kitchen up to the second wing to serve, you know, the normal house lords when they're upstairs.
Or near the kitchen.
Yeah, or near.
You're gonna have a lot of movement, Blossom. Really, if the kitchen is on one end of that wing, you'll be able to walk through the whole wing to get to the room. So, how comfortable are you with maybe branching out in rooms as opportunity arrives?
So keep in mind that in a couple hours before the gala, the Blossom and Boo, you're going to be having a tour of some kind of the manor because you'll be working inside of it. So like the people who work there, they're gonna, especially you, Blossom, because you're a server.
Yeah.
They'll be, kind of taking you through where you need to work. So you're going to have some knowledge when you do get in there, just to start.
And I am proficient in stealth. I
Perhaps
think
you
as
should
long
have
as
one
I think
son.
as long as we make sure we have Frog Boy distracted, I could probably sneak away.
Okay. So do we? So let's discuss the moral quandary. Do we want to maybe have the children be a little distracting outside? I don't want to get them involved in getting hurt or anything, but maybe they could.
We can always have it as like a fail safe.
Yeah.
Like, if we know we're going to need a distraction, we can send a message to the valets. Who
Even
then
just
can
like
notify the kids.
their cup game. They could just run their little game there, and that might draw enough, a little bit of attention. And if we need them to do more, because that if they get in trouble, they can just leave.
Yeah.
I don't want to use them to get them hurt or anything. But
Okay, so here's an idea for a distraction then, right? Here's an idea for distraction. While the party's going, have them approach the manor and ask to talk to the guy in charge. See if they can get Frog Boy's attention, and ask him specifically if they can just come in and run their cup game.
Well, I don't think we should ask Frog Boy for anything because he'll just tell
No,
us
no,
how
we
uncomfortable.
don't.
The kids
not
are
ask
asking, is
Frog
what you're
Boy.
saying?
The
they
kids
don't
are
look
asking.
like urchins
They're-
anymore, right? Because they're well
They're
dressed.
the ones asking Frog Boy, distracting him, so we can go about our business.
Yeah, because then they're just basically asking to be entertainment.
Exactly.
Because the kids weren't with us when we saw him, right? They were back at the house.
They were back at the house, yeah.
Yeah, so they should have no connection between us and them. I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna say it's a safe bet to say Frog Boy kind of knows they're urchins, right? And we can concoct a story they've been saving for a long time to get these nice clothes, so they look presentable, so we can start, providing a form of entertainment for more fancy parties.
Okay. I like that idea. And I don't know, maybe if we do need like a big distraction, we can somehow get a signal to them where they could kind of be disruptive with their game or something.
Well, yeah, I think if we have Mix holding the one device, then we can make sure that if we need them to create a bigger distraction, you guys know to signal them or whatever.
Oh, the other thing we could do is give the kids like a roofie candy to give the Frog Boy.
You're just
I
really
like
big
that
on
idea.
roofies.
I like that idea.
I mean, something to like where he pops it in his mouth and he walks away.
I like this.
I mean,
This-
they could
That's
definitely
right.
try.
This is better than
Yeah.
roofing an entire crowd because that's too much of a risk. But like roofing a guard, and if we could make a couple of these, because if you got enough to roofie an entire crowd, what if we made just a couple of these? We could do targeted roofies if needed.
Just the
Oh.
people that are
On-
going to be a big problem.
On that vein,
Blossom's
in
gonna be
addition
a
to the
server.
roofied candies, Moog,
Mm-hmm.
would any of the children be proficient in something like a blow dart or something like that?
Let's see.
I mean,
I don't know so much about like a blow dart, but I mean they're good at sleight of hand.
I'm just thinking in case like Frog Dude would just be like, "Fuck yo candy."
I don't know if I'm comfortable with having the children attack people.
like
Yeah, because they could turn on us.
because in their line of work, they're very good at sleight of hand and that kind of thing. So if you want to pull like the whole, Skyrim swap a poison apple into their pocket,
I'm not talking
Type.
about poison.
well, not roofie
But
apple.
They're roofie candy.
Yeah,
Roofie apple.
Yeah.
Roofie apple.
Yeah. if you want to try to have them sleight of hand a roofie apple into someone's pocket, like they could probably, I would say that they could probably do that. Like they got Boo, they played him, so I mean they know their stuff.
Well, yeah, but that's just Boo.
I know.
Low bar.
I mean, I figure I'm intelligent enough to know what they were doing. I was pumping them for money. I needed to establish got me. I would never be got by any children. How dare any of you assume that? How dare you?
So
And
I
I'll
have
use
no doubt.
prestidigitation. I'll make my voice louder. I'm offended
Well,
right
I mean,
Well,
we determined
no,
that
they would
you're
never get
probably
you.
smaller than the children.
Does anybody know what a pollywog's favorite meal is for food?
no, so that was my thing. Is like I have no doubt the kids can like get this candy to him or whatever, but like, yeah, how do they get him to eat it?
Well, he is basically a big frog person, so.
Scorpion
Bugs.
hop.
I could dust this over some like toasted crickets. They could give him as a snack, to earn his favor. He'll probably just chase him off, but he's probably
Or
gonna
just
munch
sneak
on the
him in
snack.
his pocket. Oh, I didn't realize I had these saved for later.
All right.
I have a question
Sure.
in terms of, so I have a disguise kit
Yes.
that I planned on using for Zyara.
Mm-hmm.
Am I able to also use that on someone else as well?
I think so. Because I know, like, Boo is able to disguise himself,
Yeah,
and Mix
I
is
know.
able to disguise himself, and you're able to disguise yourself. So it's mainly Blossom, and then Jinku's the big problem because...
Well, Jinku is going to be outside, so she's less of an issue.
True.
Yeah, as long
Crazy.
as Mr. Frog dude doesn't see me.
So I would,
Crazy idea. Crazy idea. What if there was a fire during the party?
I would rather not get arrested for arson.
It could be a kitchen accident. Pretty sure the tools aren't going to be in the kitchen. That'll give us, I mean,
Yeah,
because the place is going to get evacuated. It'll give us a small little window, run through the place, find the tools,
I
get
feel
out.
like that goes with
and we can
routine
say
food.
we were making sure. We can say we were making sure there were no patrons left inside.
I feel like that goes with roofing the food, where that should be like an alternate plan if everything
Th-
goes wrong.
That's a bit easier
well, yeah,
to
but
pull off though than the roofie.
You know,
I mean, there was a
that
cooking
might be a
accident. Some
good-
oil caught on fire. It caught the kitchen on fire.
That might
can
be
also-
kind of a good exit strategy. Like, oh, okay, there's fire, gotta go, bye.
like I feel
I'll just-
in terms of trying to achieve the goal of infiltrate the party, find the tools, get out without getting caught.
Okay,
We
well,
should-
the infiltrate part is done. We're
we
in.
should try and do it with the least amount of attention and suspicion as possible, and then save like, the fire and the roofing the majority of guests for
Okay,
oh
okay.
shit, everything is going wrong.
Okay, have the urchin set an adjacent property on fire. That'd be an equally good distraction.
No, why don't we use our skills here, and I can cast friends on the frog, and then charm him into eating.
He
Whatever
can't
I
be
can
charmed.
do.
You tried. That's what got us into this mess.
Yeah,
No,
that's true. You did. I think you did cast friends.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it didn't work so
You
well.
tried to charm him already, and he resisted it.
No, I didn't cast friends on him.
Yeah,
You did
pretty sure you
something.
did.
Somebody cast something on him or tried.
Because you tried to charm him, and he got super pissed off. I tried to, use persuasion on him to get at least me into the party, and he wouldn't have it. And then
I just
Jinku
tried to be a big ass
threaten him.
elephant. Didn't work.
And nearly got us arrested.
Well, let's just one of us blow dart him. I mean, we're mostly good with weapons. And if stuff starts going sideways, we poison the frog, get the stuff, and get the hell out of there.
Well, we have to. The problem is that we have to make sure we get the stuff before we start doing anything too drastic. Because if we poison the frog, or set a fire, or make everyone roofied, we drastically close our window to find the tools. We only have a very short amount of time before guards start showing up. We have to make sure we have it before we draw attention.
Yeah, that's
That's
very
fair.
true.
Yeah.
I feel like the fire idea, while drastic, might be good if like there's no easy getting away from the manor. But yeah, I definitely don't think it should be like our main thing. Same with roofing or blowing a dart at a frog.
I mean,
I think
the fire idea would be a good getaway.
Yeah, I do like that.
Between us,
I think who could be missed the most? Because we need to figure out, like, I think we should all expect to show up and do our jobs, but in trying to do our jobs, try and figure this out. We could try and do it during the tour if we have a chance. If we see it, I mean, I am not a snatch and grab is a thing that we could do. Like, we could just, you know, if we see it on a tour, I am not, you know, adverse to grabbing it and jumping out a window.
Jinkudina, you're sharing your screen.
Nope.
There it goes. It goes away.
yeah.
Okay, so
I think
here's an idea for.
You guys should definitely be looking for anything that could give away where it might be. But I think
that
between
too.
all of us, we have enough skills to try and find it without gimmicks. And
I have an idea.
Getting away.
I have an idea. If Boo messes one of the guests' plates up horribly, plates of food horribly, I say, oh, I'll take it back, get it fixed. I mean, obviously we're going to have to make a new plate. It's going to take a little bit of time. That'll give me time to get away.
Okay, another question.
Sure.
Me and Mix are valets. Like, are we going to need to be outside the whole time, or is there going to be a chunk of time where we're not going to necessarily be needed, that one of us could potentially slip in and flick around?
So for you two, so like leading up to like when the thing starts, you're going to be, you know, doing valet stuff, taking carts, getting people into the place. During the party, the general expectation for you valets is that you'll be in the stable area where all the carts are. And then when the gala's over, then it comes upon you guys again to take people home and bring their carts and stuff. So like during the gala itself, the only real expectation of you guys is to be in like the stables. But you don't have any particular duties aside from the stuff at the beginning and the stuff at the end.
Okay, so, I mean, Jinku's fairly stealthy. Maybe somehow, once ballet duties are done with for the beginning part, sneak her upstairs. She can look around. She's not going to be missed.
You look a little incredulous there, Boo.
I know
the
I'm a
idea of
giant-ass
sneaking an
elephant, but-
anywhere.
The
she
stairs
she
creak
can
when
tip.
you walk up them, Jinko. I don't understand how
Hey!
you're stealthy. Demonstrate this for me. I must see this.
Let's
Hide
talk
from
about
me.
the elephant in the
I
Warrior.
am from a military background. I don't appreciate your doubt in my stealthiness. I'm not the smartest, but
It is not doubt. I do not believe. It's not just doubt. Until you can prove to be stealthy, I do not believe in your ability. Look at you.
that's rude. That's very rude. Look at you.
All right. So it seems like, for the most part, people are going to be disguised. Are going to be disguised. Going to get in there. Going to be in there with your jobs. Try to slip away and get an eye on things at some point when you can. Maybe have the kids try to candy up this frog dude. And then, I mean, there's a lot of unknowns, of course, because you don't know where it is in there, or you don't know what's going to happen at the gala or anything. But it seems like you got a pretty good plan covered up here.
Yeah, I think the definitives are Boo and I are going to disguise ourselves. I'm going to disguise Blossom. And when Boo and Blossom take their tour, they're going to make sure to keep an eye out for anywhere that this thing could be.
And I've got my familiar I can send as I get moments.
Yeah. And I think Boo and Mix are going to have the 2 communication devices.
Okay.
And then Boo can use his familiar and Blossom to communicate to the rest of us. And I don't know, we have people that can sneak around inside and we'll have to figure it out. But we can use the kids for the roofie candies.
But we all agree we're gonna strive for stealth and not murdering at all
Yeah.
costs.
Yes.
I think we're gonna try
Now,
and
if we
use skills and resort to gimmicks only if we need them to get away.
Okay, if we do have to kill someone, then definitely the fire. Just if. Then definitely the fire of the place, so we can disguise their death as they got burnt up in the fire.
So one thing you can keep in mind is if you do end up fighting someone, when you're striking people, you can strike to incapacitate instead of to kill. I think I've seen that done before. I'm pretty sure you can. Quick, right?
That would
Yeah,
be
but-
entirely up to you, Moog.
Yeah, you can declare non-lethal blows
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
for melee blows. You can't non-lethal arrow, but you can non-lethally beat someone up.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
There's also the option that I also have always 100% of the time played it as when a critter gets to 0 HP, it is dead. There is no death saves. But that's actually not rules is written. I think rules is written, they get around or a death save or something. They're unconscious. They're not dead. So there is the option of playing things like that, but
okay.
I don't do that because then you got to either do it all the time or pick and choose, and it's more work on your part to be well,
Okay.
you guys stabilize this guy.
Okay.
I don't
Okay. Well, I'll say I'll go off the assumption if you do end up fighting a person here, that when they get to 0 they're unconscious and then you guys move on, unless noted otherwise. Unless you say no, I'm going to bash this guy's face in. Otherwise, I'm going to assume if you do end up fighting some person at this thing, that you're just going to try to knock them out. to avoid that because you are in Waterdeep. You also have to live here, so may not be best to murder nobles at a gala.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
Correct. I mean, let's not murder and like burn. And like, to be honest, if we can get this out and somehow hand this off to the children, and maybe just one of us leaves and gets them and the thing back to the play to here, that it might even be a good idea for us to finish our shifts entirely. I mean, we shouldn't bail when we get this. We don't want to arouse suspicion. I suspect that the racket that these guilds are running is going to end up having us doing a little more of this. And if we, the better we are at this, the more we can expect to get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Well, and if you're going the route where you're going to finish your shifts, I mean, out of all of you, the only person that doesn't really have a full shift to finish is Zyara. Because she's just entertainment, and she does her act and is done. So
There we go.
And then on top of that, we get paid too. So I like that.
So we should pass, if we can get this, we should pass it off to Zyara at the end of shift. Perhaps you should come and get a bite. You might be a little, maybe
Well,
a
I'm
little
sure it's
tired.
Would it be in my contract that I would be able to get food after my shift?
yeah, I mean, I'd say that's reasonable. I mean, I'd say probably all of the workers are able to at least get some kind of food from the kitchen for their shift. Like they probably wouldn't, say go take the food off the feast table in the banquet. But I mean, I'm sure for the workers, I'm sure they'd let you have like a plate of something from the kitchen for food.
So yeah, if we can find it and get it to Boo, then it can get passed off to me, and I can get out of there.
Okay. All right.
But at no cost should the kids be lighting anything on fire or getting in trouble. I want to be very clear the children are not to be put in danger or to be breaking the law. They will be raised correctly.
Well, as correctly as a thief could help raise a kid.
Correct. We're gonna hone their skills before they start breaking the law. They can distract. I do not want you children getting into trouble.
We want them to have the correct morals.
All right.
So while you guys are talking, I thought about something. How about how many potions did I manage to mix up?
I'd say with like the supplies that you got, you have enough for. Like, are you making the potions, or are you making the little candies, or like whatever it is you're making?
No, I'm gonna put them in vials.
Or little vials?
As part of my alchemy stuff.
Okay. I'd say you had enough to make 3 doses, we'll say. So, yeah, then you can do with those what you will, whatever you're putting them into. So 3 vials of it.
I'll keep one. I'll give one to Boo and one to Blossom.
Okay.
Since if we need to dose somebody, they're kind of the best too.
Okay.
Or I could give 2 of them to Boo or 2 to Blossom. It doesn't matter, but I'll just lay those out there.
Yeah.
So if we gotta dose somebody, they're down.
Okay. Okay. All right. Do you think we got a plan squared away for the most part?
As much as we can.
As much as you
without
can?
knowing where it is.
All right. All right. So, all of you have had this great long discussion here into the evening here, kind of planning your moves for the morrow. And the morning comes, and you get yourself prepared with your various disguises that you're putting on, or your disguised self. Zara and Blossom, you both kind of work on each other. Get yourself kind of done up a little bit. Boo, Mix, what are you using disguise self to do? Change yourself to?
Look like a Vidalcan.
You just look like a regular Vidalcan without your mask. Okay.
Blossom really detests wearing clothes, but will do it for the job.
Okay.
Mix is going to make himself look human and kind of a dullard.
Okay. Fits. That works. All right, Sarah, what about you?
I think Zyara would work to try and change her skin color a little bit, maybe towards a like navy,
Okay.
and
Sure.
and she has like as part of her kind of disguise that she carries around with her, she does have like a nice dress, like almost nobility level, but maybe a little bit under.
Okay.
So she'll be wearing a nice dress, and probably some gaudy jewelry to kind of further the fortune teller vibe.
Okay. That's
And
fair.
she's also going to be wearing a like a half sheer veil on the lower part of her face.
Okay. All right. And what about Jinko? I know there's not too much you can do to hide yourself, but do you try in some way?
Yeah, I think, Jinku's very tomboyish, so I think she would try to just be a little bit more feminine, maybe a little rouge on the cheeks, maybe try to find kind of a more girly hat or something, just to look a little bit more feminine.
Trying to picture an elephant with rouge and sky.
I can see it just fine.
That's pretty great. That is pretty.
Zyra just like does Jinku's makeup.
Oh, thank God, because Jinku doesn't know how to do that. You don't need that in the military.
Jinku tries to put eyeliner on her lips.
Like, oh, God.
Like, no.
After a minute, Jinku just like hands everything back to Zyara and just kind of gives her a look like, please help me.
All right. So you spend the morning getting all ready for this and make your way down to the roadhouse in the southern ward here.
I complain about wearing clothes the entire way.
Fair. That's fair. All right. So you make it down to here. Those of you, waiting outside is the elfin gal who was in the square, kind of signing people up to hire people for the gala. There's a fair number of others that are here as well, also seem to be from all kind of walks of life and various races that they've hired to come on and help them out with this. You are so Boo and Blossom, you get led first up into the kitchen. Excuse me. And you're introduced to a female half-elf comes up and introduces herself as Miel, and that she's the head chef for the gala. And so, seeing how many people are coming, she seems somewhat anxious about the amount of work that's going to be coming in, a bit stern. A couple times there's a few of the other workers that are kind of talking amongst themselves or laughing, and she kind of has a spoon in hand and kind of whaps him a little bit with it to try to keep him in line. So she kind of struts around the kitchen, describing some of the various, plates and appetizers and things that you're going to be putting together. And she, partway through her speech, she sees a figure coming down the hallway, and in walks this bullywug that you guys had seen before, kind of dressed in a pretty nice suit. And she introduces him as Mr. Wugamub, and that he is the head of security here at the gala, and he is going to show you around the manor and where you will need to be working. And he kind of suspiciously eyes over everybody in the room. He seems kind of a suspicious fellow of everybody. But thankfully, he doesn't seem to recognize Boo or Blossom in the disguises that they had put together. And so he kind of gruffly motions to you and the rest of the staff that were there, and says, "Come along, I'll show you where you need to be working." And of course, this is the kitchens. And he kind of walks out into the hall, and you follow along after him. So going down the hall, you see there's a few doors on either side. He mentions these are some of the storage areas for the food. So if she needs you to get some supplies, this one on the left here would be where to go. And you continue walking down the hall, and on your on your right, going out of the kitchen, there is a set of stairs, a fairly kind of nice, grand set of stairs that seems to go up to the second floor. He, as you're walking past the stairs, he mentions like upstairs is the guild quarters. You won't need anything up there, so we'll pass going up there for now. And he continues walking down and out into the kind of large ball area. And there's a few other staff, or a few other people that are already in there kind of setting up some tables along the sides and, kind of putting a few things together and some decor. And he kind of points over to the tables on the one side with his cane and says, "This is where the feast is going to be laid out. So those of you servers, we expect you to be coming back and forth between the kitchen and here, keeping things well stocked for the guests. We have quite a few people coming tonight, and so there'll probably be a lot of need for you to go back and forth refilling the trays for everybody to make sure we don't run out of anything important."
Will we be going over the menu in case guests have any questions?
Well, the menu is pretty much most of a pick for yourself off the feast table here. There's no really any sitting down portion of the meal. But if anybody has any particular concerns or, dietary needs, if that be the case, take their wishes back to the kitchen and we can certainly get them sorted out. We want to make sure the nobles coming here to the Coachman's Gala are well taken care of.
I just was thinking simple questions. What meat is this? What vegetable is that?
Of course. Well, the main course we have set up here is we plan on having a few different main meat dishes, where, of course, the main centerpiece is going to be a large roast pig that we will have set, beautifully roasted. I'm not quite sure of the recipe they're using in the back, but Miel is very well known for her prized cooking. We have a number of different salads and side dishes and small bites that people will be able to take from. I am afraid I'm not too familiar with the particulars of the food, but there's quite a wide spread across all different types. The nobles that will be visiting here, come from all places across the realm, and so we want to make sure that they are well taken care of. And he, after kind of explaining, about like the setup here in the gala, or in the main kind of hall, he, takes you back to the kitchen and goes off somewhere else. And Miel begins, instructing the cooks in some of the various preparing of these foods. You start, Boo, they have you starting to do, some chopping, some, various food preparation activities. Blossom, they have you, for the most part, assisting with the setup at this point. So they have you out in the main hall, continuing to set up tables and, kind of prepare some of the decor around that area. So while that's happening, Mix and Jinku, you're outside, and you're introduced to you're introduced to kind of a kind of gruff-looking dwarf out by the stables, and he sees you and the others coming that are valets, and motions to you to come over and says, "Well, it's good to see you here at the Coachman's Gala. Of course, we pride ourselves on our coaching skills and our great dedication to transportation of the people of Waterdeep. So we expect the highest caliber of fine work in taking care of the vehicles that the nobles will be visiting us in. So of course we will have you, as they arrive at the gates out front, if you can bring their carts all around here in the back, their horses, their whatever it is they happen to come in, we'll take them out here in the stables in the back, or in the yard here around the stables, and tie them up. And once the gala really gets going, if you could please just stay in the stables. I'm sure you hands can amuse yourself in here for the time being, and we'll call for you when the gala is done to bring everyone's items back. Are there any questions?" All right, so he, kind of looking over everybody, sees there's no questions, says, "Well, it's simple enough work, but we pride ourselves on it." And so he has you all, kind of familiarizing yourself with, some of the equipment around the stables, and where in particular they want some of the horses to be stored up, and some of the places to park the carts, and kind of busying yourselves out there. Zara, what are you doing at this point? Because they're all in there getting their various tours and instruction, but you aren't really needed yet. So you're kind of still outside the mansion, or in the area at least, waiting for the gala to get a little closer before you're needed. What are you up to?
So during this time, would you say that the bullywog is busy inside?
Yeah, he seems... You haven't really seen him too much outside. I mean, he was outside earlier when everybody first arrived. But it seems like as, the preparations have been getting underway, and as the gala's getting a lot closer, he seems a lot more preoccupied with stuff inside the manor at the moment.
So I'm probably just walking around the perimeter, mentally noting all of the exits and the balconies on the second floor, and kind of the main areas of traverse that are happening with people that are working in the gala.
Okay.
I guess since did we decide that the kids are going to at least be around?
Yeah, it sounds like you guys did have the kids around.
Yes.
So they would currently be with you, or at least near you. I mean, if you don't have an eye on them, they're probably kind of nearby on the street trying to do their usual thing.
I'm probably walking around with the kids currently.
Okay.
And discussing the plan in the area with them.
Okay.
And maybe teaching them a couple tricks about picking pockets.
All right.
Well, while they were going over the table area with me and whoever, I mean, I'm sure they covered the path to the kitchen and everything. Did we see any stairs along that path leading up to the second floor?
There were, yeah. So not too far outside the kitchen. So coming out of the kitchen, you had some storage areas, some doors to storage areas on the left and right side, and pretty much just past that, there was pretty kind of a nice ornate staircase that turned and went up to the second floor. So pretty much, maybe 15, 20 feet out of the kitchen, there were these stairs that went up there. And he had mentioned it in passing as you went past, that's where the quarters for the guild mainly were, but there wasn't really any need to be up there for this, so he didn't take you up there at all. But you could see, at least when walking under that area, you could see that like the stairs go up to the second floor, and there appears to be kind of like a large kind of landing in the center up there, from what you could tell, with rooms around the edges. So there's kind of like a large central area at the top of the stairs on the second floor, and then some other rooms, but you of course don't know what they are. You just know that there's some doors up there. Were there any other questions that you had on that in particular? Okay. All right. So, you all are going around doing your various works for the jobs that you were hired to do. As the gala gets closer, of course, a few people start, trickling in. So Mix, you, and Jinku are starting to get a little bit of activity out front. Taking a few carts here and there as some people show up a little early to the gala. But eventually, as it gets into the evening, you start having just throngs of Waterdevians, just tons of people, coming and lining up outside this manor, like more than you would have expected for some coachman's guild gala, and carrying nobles, famous adventurers, celebrities, quite a few notable people from around Waterdeep seem to be coming here. As the gates finally do open for some of these people, you can see that there's been like a red carpet rolled out, kind of across the front lawn towards the gate, and there's a few of the kind of guards that are on security detail inside the gate that start checking, people's invitations as they're coming in. Jinku, you and Mix can see there's been in the yard on the inside. Some statues have been set up for the gala. Some kind of nice looking carved metal statues with, insignia and just kind of humanoid statues that look to be kind of wearing the uniform of the Coachman's Fellowship. And then you also see a large kind of freshly carved wooden statue of a horse that's been placed kind of centrally in the yard, kind of near the fountain as well. In particular, you notice from the guards there's a pretty tall blue dragonborn that seems to be tasking people for invitations as they come. Zara, at this point, I would say you were probably coming up to try to get in as an entertainer. Okay. And so as you're coming up to the front gates here with this blue dragonborn asking people, they kind of look at you and say, invitations? And then they kind of look you over for a moment and go, oh, or are you working here tonight?
I'm one of the entertainers for the evening.
Ah, yes, of course, wonderful. And they kind of reach into like a parcel or a sachet on their side and pull a little billboard or a little clipboard and kind of flip through it and says, name? Taro, okay. And they flip through. Ah, yes, I do see you on the roster here. Wonderful. If you could go and make your way into the far end of the hall, we have the entertainers all kind of gathering there for their acts later on tonight.
All right, thank you.
All right. So as this, gala gets underway, Valra, Jinku, you and Mix, you've managed to bring most of the carts around, and things are kind of petering out for work for you for the moment. Most of the people have arrived, and you find yourselves in the stable around back, kind of with nothing to do at this point as the gala is happening. And those of you in the kitchens, though, in Boo, things have been pretty frantic in the kitchens. Miel is a pretty demanding head chef, almost constantly seems to be going around critiquing people's work. even though you're all just hired for tonight, she seems to take this quite seriously. And more than a few times you've been bopped on the hands with a wooden spoon as working here, because she questioned, or things weren't quite up to what her standards were. Blossom, they've had you started bringing things out to the main tables as guests have been coming in, and you, as you're bringing things out there, do you want to roll a perception check for me, Blossom? Okay. All right. So you notice among like all these people that have been coming in here, someone that has been, almost constantly being greeted by guests as they arrive. There's a tall human male, appears to be dressed in Coachman's Fellowship attire. Frequently people are coming up to him and greeting him, and he's welcoming them to the gala here, and you overhear names. This appears to be someone named Valenzo, and from the conversations that you've picked up just from walking past and putting things on the tables, he seems to be a pretty up-and-coming coachman in the fellowship here. And you notice at one point, as he's like turning to talk to someone, he has like this kind of thin silken shirt that he's wearing on, and he has a small key on a necklace under his silken shirt, from what you can see. Let's see some of the other people here. Zara, as you're kind of making your way back to the corner where they're having all the entertainers kind of set up, where is it here? There's a group in the corner that's already been here, kind of tuning their instruments, and they introduce themselves as you walk up. Oh, hello. Are you one of the other entertainers with us here tonight?
Yes, I do fortune telling.
Ah, that's just splendid. We are the Comerian League. We're some traveling musicians they've hired for the main stage tonight. And so the four of us will be playing our act most of the night as background music. And so we're happy to have some others here with in our line of work.
I look forward to hearing your piece. What brings you to Waterdeep?
Well, I mean, we're always looking for work around, and whenever we know there's something big going on, we always like to get ourselves involved and make a little coin on the side, of course, for the music. And of course, there's so many notable people here. We always love to hear the gossip that goes around, and some of the Waterdavians. It's great to see some of the nobles out and about on the town and just see the shenanigans they get up to.
Indeed, the nobility of Waterdeep always seem to have something going on. Have you heard any good gossip lately?
Oh, well, let's see here. And he kind of sets he has like a little kind of lute, and he kind of tucks it at his side. He kind of looks out over the crowd here, and he says, well, I mean, let's see. And he points out a female, kind of a matronly looking woman, part way across the hall, talking to some other people. She has ice white hair that's like tied up in kind of a neat bun on her head. And he says, well, that is the Lady Catherine Sevilla. She is the commander of the fellowship here. And, she has quite a reputation, that one. I mean, nobody likes to speak of it out loud, but she is, she helps a lot of the nobles with discreet transportation, if you know what I mean. Those nobles, they like to get into frisky business and aren't always the most loyal of people to their significant others, and she has many connections to the nobles here. She arranges transport in the dead of night to all sorts of risque things. He also kind of points out there is a male noble, very finely dressed, on another end of the hall. He's kind of balding, but he's very tall. He kind of sticks out above everybody else with his height. He has these very large, bushy mutton chops, and he's wearing this gleaming silver breastplate, and like all these other kind of military adornments as well. And he says, that is, of course, Sivalar Barrett Miramachi, the Speaker of the Fellowship. And, he has been the Speaker of the Fellowship for quite some time, and does a great job of running the guild and keeping the transportation of Waterdeep up and running. He's the one who actually hired us. He had heard us play before in his travels somewhere. I'm afraid I'm not sure where, but we thank him for the opportunity to come here. And let's see, is there anybody else? Let me check here if there's anybody else he points out to you here. So as he is describing these people to you, roll a perception check for me too, Zara. Okay. So you...
I noticed that there's some very pretty people around.
You do. You notice that there are some very pretty people around. And you don't seem to see anything else of note besides there just being a lot of nobles around the room. Let's see. So at this point, what are you, Mix? What are you and Val, or what are you and Jinku up to out in the stables since things have cooled down for you all out there?
I'm gonna be holding on to this communication stone and just look like I'm staring off into space, but watching what I can see of the building as best I can.
Okay.
Is there something I can help?
Roll a perception check for me as you're kind of standing outside the stables here, watching. Okay. So, you've seen, every so often there seem to be people that kind of make it around to this side of the building, just kind of talking amongst themselves, a few of the various people. But you do notice at one point a human male with kind of fiery red ginger hair kind of sticks out to you a little bit compared to some of the others. As he's walking around outside here, and you see him go into one of the side doors of the kind of main hall building, he seems to have kind of a dodgy look about him. Like, he doesn't seem quite comfortable here, which stands out quite from the kind of demure and regalings of many of the others you've seen, kind of standing proudly and talking with each other. He's alone. He doesn't seem to have anybody with him, and you see him kind of slip in one of the side doors, kind of looking both ways before he does.
I'm gonna relay that information to Boo in the kitchens.
Okay. Boo, what do you do with this information that comes through the sending stone?
So I'm pretty, okay. So I think I'd want to be trying to pay attention to things. Is there any, I know I'm busy.
Mm-hmm.
Do I have any moments to slip away, or maybe send my familiar to go?
Aren't the sending stones telepathic?
Yeah, the sending stones are. So, they make it so that someone sends a message of 25 words or less, and the person on the other end hears that message in their mind and knows who it's from. So you've gotten this message from Mix that he saw a suspicious individual with red hair coming in one of the side doors. I mean, if you're wanting to send your familiar to someone, I mean, you could always feign dropping something on the floor and then kind of letting your familiar kind of scoot away under the counters. I mean, Blossom's in and out of the kitchen, delivering things, and so you could always try to whisper something to him as you pass him a tray of some odd food or other.
I mean, because the thing with the familiar is I have to like if I send him to, he can do like simple things for me. If I want to see or like understand what's going on, I can't be doing anything.
Okay, I see what you mean.
So I'll inform Blossom as soon as like the next time I see him.
Okay.
Because this really concerns me. I feel like if there's a suspicious individual, we might want to try and act. So I'll let Blossom know to maybe try. If I have a spare moment to slip away, I'd probably try.
Okay. If you're going to try to slip away from your post, roll a stealth check for me. So you try to like slip out into the hall and see. And Blossom, are you wanting to go with him and try to slip away for a moment?
What am I doing? Am I like stirring pots or something? Can I make an unseen servant do my task so it doesn't seem like I've been gone too long?
You could. Yeah, I'd say that's reasonable.
Okay. Okay, let me mark here. Okay. I'll make an unseen servant, kind of like do whatever, if there's a simple task that I'm doing, so nobody will really be able to see it, but it won't seem like I've been gone too long, and then I'll roll that stealth. So.
Okay. Nice, very nice. So, Boo, you have your unseen servant over here next to this large vat, stirring something away, and you manage to, kind of slip in behind one of the servers as they're heading out. And you get out into the hall, and you see Blossom coming back up the hall with a tray. So, Blossom, you see Boo coming out of the kitchen here. What do you do seeing, kind of Boo slipping his way through the door into the hallway here with you?
I'm gonna make a show on. I want to go out and make a show on checking on the tables, see if anything needs to be refilled.
Okay.
And then if it does, I want to quickly refill it and then see if I can't slip away upstairs.
Okay. So you go ahead and roll a stealth check for me in the process of this. So you head back out there, kind of find one of the trays that looks a little bit low, and you also manage to, after getting that, you kind of poke yourself into the kitchen a little bit and kind of slip an empty tray onto a counter nearby, and manage to make it into the hall with Boo here. Some of the other servers are still coming and going, but I mean they're all none of you know each other. You're all just hired there for the night, so they don't really care too much that you guys are standing here in the hall, seemingly conversing with each other. They're more concerned with their work at the moment.
I think we should try and check upstairs as quick as we can, Blob.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. We should head for separate rooms as quick as we can. Let's go. And I will. At least me. I know I'll head up the stairs as quick as I can, inconspicuously.
Okay.
Same.
Boo, are you telling Mix anything back through the stone? Having him try to come or stay where he's at, anything like that, or is it just you two that are trying to go up here?
I'll quickly say, don't want to miss opportunity. Blossom and I heading upstairs.
Okay.
I'll send back. I'll keep an eye on the door and act if I need to.
Okay. Jinku, what are you doing at this point? So Mix, like you I mean, because I assume you've been, relaying some of this information to Jinku as well as you've had it.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So Jinku, you know that Boo and Blossom are making their way upstairs. What are you going to do at this point? Just stay where you are, or?
Yeah, I'm kind of like idle chit chat to mix just to kind of make it look like we're doing something, but really just kind of watching all around, scanning the doors, the yard, even the second floor, just, make sure we don't miss anything.
Okay. All right. Zyra, at this point, your act is up, and so you are, kind of up in kind of the stage setup area. The other, musicians from the Corellian League, they're providing backing music as you do this. So you're, doing your tarot act here. Go ahead and do a performance check for me. All right, very nice. So you kind of go through your tarot act. What does your tarot act look like? What is it that you're doing? Like, are you kind of pulling people up and doing readings on them? Like, what do you do?
Yeah, so Zyra would essentially call for volunteers,
Okay.
and she would basically pull a volunteer up to her table and do some tarot spreads and basically kind of make it extra showy, have them draw the cards, make a lot of noise as she read the cards, and loudly proclaim probably some rather enhanced fortunes, good stuff to make the nobles feel like they're gonna have good fortune in their futures.
Okay.
She'd probably do about 3 of them.
Okay. And are you still trying, like, as you're up there on the stage, you like kind of keeping an eye out, trying to see if anything's happening here? Like, at this moment, you don't know about the guy with the red hair because this hasn't been communicated to you. But do you kind of keep an eye out for things?
Yeah, I've been keeping an eye on the crowd both before my act and now during my act.
Okay. All right. So as you're kind of keeping an eye on the crowd, you do happen to see that guy with the red hair, kind of staying towards the back, still kind of on his own, kind of shiftily looking around. You also see a, where is it here? You see a human, a female human, kind of near where Valenzo is standing. She, like, as you've been up front, like as Valenzo kind of moves through the crowd talking to people, you notice she always seems to be somewhat close to him or nearby, and she seems very obviously uncomfortable in the clothes that she is wearing, like constantly fidgeting with the dress that she has on.
And by that, you mean she's wearing, like, high-class clothes?
Yeah, she is wearing high-class clothes, but she looks very obviously uncomfortable in them.
Okay.
Like I said, she's constantly kind of fidgeting at it, kind of like, pulling at it, trying to like kind of adjust her posture. She doesn't look like she usually wears this kind of thing, but she seems to just be kind of trying to be in the area that Valenzo is as you're going around.
Does it seem like Valenzo doesn't really notice that she's there? Like, they're not there together?
It seems like Valenzo every once in a while has seen her, and you think you've seen kind of a nod towards her at some point. Like, they don't seem to be here together, but they do seem to have some sort of connection.
Can I call her up to my table?
Sure, you could try it. Yeah, go ahead. Well, yeah, okay. So you kind of are, doing your thing, kind of trying to like pick someone out from the crowd, and you call her out. And she looks kind of stunned at this. She wasn't really expecting to be caught up in anything. As you know, the other nobles around her kind of cheering, they're like, yeah, yeah, and kind of like, kind of pushing her way towards the front. You see, like Valenzo kind of smiles a little bit and kind of kind of just shakes his head a little bit, but he doesn't seem like too nervous about it. So she comes up and kind of awkwardly sits up on whatever you have set up there. Still kind of fidgeting with her dress. What are you trying to read on her?
So, I mean, I would obviously ask for her name and maybe try and see if she'll tell me something about herself. I'm mostly trying to see if I can gauge
Okay.
like her intentions, I guess.
Okay, go ahead and do an insight check for me as you're doing this reading on her.
Ouch.
Okay. So she, you have her kind of, say her name to the crowd. She says that her name is Sybil. And she just kind of, continues fidgeting with herself, with her dress, as you're doing this kind of tarot reading of her. From what you can read on her face, her intent here seems to be... She seems to have some kind of business intent here. Like you don't sense any like harmful intent. You just sense kind of a kind of like a business drive, that she's here to do a job. But you can't really read anything deeper than that.
Okay. So maybe like protection for Valenzo or something.
Okay. So, the reading for her finishes, it all goes well. The crowd, cheers. And, at the end of your act, you make your way off the stage. The Corellian Corps, or League, continues doing their number. Their music kind of picks up a little bit. And as you're kind of stepping away from the stage and going back to kind of the corner where they have the various entertainers, the lady with the ice white hair,
Catherine?
Yeah, Catherine Sevilla kind of makes her way over to you.
Uh-huh.
And, kind of reaches out her hand to you in greeting. And, kind of whispers under her voice, You're here looking for something, aren't you?
It's possible I am. Why do you ask?
And so she kind of pulls you aside a little bit against one of the walls here. And she says, introduced herself, Lady Catherine Sevilla, the commander of the fellowship here. I fear there is some dealing going on that could put us in a bad light with some of the other guilds in town, specifically the Skinners and Tanners Guild. And I'd rather avoid some inter-guild trouble, if you know what I mean. Are you here? And she kind of looks back and forth. Are you here after those tools? I saw you kind of keeping an eye out over the crowd more than I would expect a random entertainer to do.
I suppose we were approached to see if we could locate the tools by another guild.
Okay. So she kind of leans back a little bit and you kind of thinks for a moment and says, in my line of work, discretion is very important. And I fear our up-and-comer Valenzo has kind of taken things a bit too far. And like to get it resolved if I can, without, arousing any trouble with the Tanners and Skinners Guild here in the city. I have many dealings with them myself, and this would cause undue strife I'd rather not have happen. If you're looking for the tools, I know that Valenzo is keeping them upstairs in his desk. So if that is what you're after, I advise you take a look up there when you have the chance. And she kind of, finishes her sentence there, kind of trailing off in a whisper, and kind of nods at you knowingly and kind of makes her way back into the crowd.
I say thank you, milady, and do a curtsy to her as if to make a show that we were just having a casual conversation.
Okay. And what do you do at this point with this information that you've just gotten?
Well, my act is over.
Yep.
So technically my shift is over.
Yep.
So I would assume that I haven't seen Blossom for a while.
Yeah, you noticed that, you saw Blossom come out and, check one of the trays out there, switch him out, go back. But you haven't seen him for a couple minutes. And, usually throughout the night as you've been watching his actions, he seemed to be coming in and out of the kitchen and the hall pretty regularly. Like it almost seemed like he just went back and forth, constantly, never really any breaks in between. But it's been a few minutes since he took that last tray. So you assume that he must be back in that part of the manor at the moment.
So I'm going to head towards the kitchen.
Okay.
Since, as far as I know, the plan was for me to go to the kitchen after my act.
Mm-hmm.
I
grab a
assume-
bite to eat, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm.
I assume when I go into the kitchen, I don't see Boo or Blossom.
Well, you actually see them on the way back to the kitchen, because they are, like, both of them are in the hall.
Okay.
Seemingly like they're standing somewhat near the stairs. It seems like they had just been coming, like they had just met up there as well and were conversing among themselves. So you walk up, you find Boo and Blossom here at the foot of the stairs. I assume you relay what information you have.
Yeah.
I thought we were upstairs.
So you guys,
We haven't gone up there yet.
this stuff's all happening at the same time. So you guys were heading upstairs, and this is what she was doing while you guys were meeting. And so now timelines are converging, and you are here. So you guys are at the bottom of the stairs. You guys mentioned, of course, to Zayara that you were about to head upstairs, as you had a suspicion that that was where they were being kept. Zayara, you confirm, I assume?
Yeah, so I would make sure that we were out of sight, out of earshot from the party.
Mm-hmm.
And I would tell them, I have been approached by someone with information that the tools we're looking for is in a desk upstairs by
It was
so the lord of the house.
Valenzo seems to be just kind of an up-and-coming, important coachman. There was another gentleman that the bard had pointed out to you that was the speaker of the fellowship. He was the one wearing the kind of large breastplate with the kind of military adornments. It seems he was probably some kind of veteran in the past, but still liked to wear his military garb to fancy events like this. But yeah, it seems this Valenzo is kind of just an up-and-comer, making waves in the fellowship right now. And then Catherine Sevilla, of course, he would talk to is the commander of the fellowship and involved in a lot of kind of risque deals. So
yeah, I relate to them that the tools we're looking for seem to be in a desk upstairs. So we should try and find whatever desks we can and look in there.
okay, all right.
So what are your plans? Where are you going? Perhaps you should
Well,
come with us.
I won't be missed. My shift is over.
Okay,
So-
you're the most skilled at picking locks. Perhaps I should return to my station. Are you not? You're skilled at that, are you?
Yeah, I
No.
can pick locks.
Yeah.
You cannot. And I fear you may encounter something like that. Perhaps you should.
Well, judging by the key that Valenza was wearing around his throat, yes, it would seem that a lock is probably standing in our path.
Okay. Do you do anything with if you're going to go back to the kitchens? Do you do anything with your familiar, Boo?
So, here's what I'm thinking. Here was my plan. I was thinking to like maybe give him to her, but I'm not sure how intelligent a familiar is on its own. Like if I can tell her, it to come back to me when she's successful, and then she can go about her business and I can finish my shift. But I was thinking of, maybe send it with her so that she can maybe use that as a warning for me.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think that's up to you.
I'd say that.
how
I'd say.
intelligent it is.
I'd say it's intelligent enough to do something like that. So, like, if Zara, tells it either that things are done, or that there's danger of some kind, it can zip downstairs. Among with its size easily, no problem, among the feet of everybody in here, and make its way to you. And
Okay.
it being your familiar, you'd know whether it's good news or not, and act accordingly.
Okay. I will. And goes. Take my minion with you. I will go to my station. Good luck.
Okay.
I put him on my shoulder.
Okay. And do you relate anything to Mix and Jinku outside?
I will. Yeah. As I'm walking back to the kitchen, I will say, Zayara has a lead. Sending her instead. I'm going back to the kitchen.
Okay. All right. So Zara, you and Blossom make your way up the stairs here, and I think at this point this is a good halfway point. So we're going to take a quick break, and then get into what goes on upstairs in the second half of the gala here after the break. So we'll see you in 10. get this show on the road. Alrighty. So.
puckered up. Oh.
All right. So. Let me get some. Let me get Blossom and Zara on the board here. All right. So. Blossom, Zara, you two make your way upstairs. And at the top of the stairs here, you find yourselves in a pretty decently large upstairs foyer. The floor is all ceramic tile, and there's a number of different kind of throw rugs, like kind of large throw rugs and runners and things along the floor, assumedly to keep people from getting cold feet on the tile. You see a number of doors leading off from this main foyer. I think you could see. Let me make sure they can all at least be somewhat seen. Okay. I think that's, yeah. I think you should be able to at least see where the doors are. So, yeah, there's a number of doors going off in all directions, all over the walls. The main things you notice about them, the one directly in front of you at the top of the stairs, and the one kind of behind you just to the north of the stairs, both of those doors look pretty plain and just kind of regular old wooden doors, nothing particularly ornate about them. The rest of the doors, though, they seem a little bit of a finer work. Like their wood quality seems better. They seem a little more, well taken care of. A little better designed compared to the two that are in front of you and directly behind you on the stairs here.
Okay, so when you say south and north, do you mean directly south and northeast?
Yeah, so like the one that is a square below where Blossom is right now,
Yeah.
and the one that is one square up and to the right of you.
Okay.
So yeah, pretty much.
Just making sure I had the right north.
Yep.
Okay. I'm gonna go to this door, and I'm going to listen at it.
Okay.
See if anyone happens to be in there.
Okay, go ahead and roll a perception for me there. Okay. So you kind of listen at this door here. You don't hear anything from inside. No movement, no voices or anything. You kind of jiggle the door knob a little bit. It's unlocked. So if you wanted to open it, you could.
Okay.
Cool.
I slowly open the door and peek inside.
Go. Get in. Come on. Go. Get in. So you take a look inside this door. This appears to be some sort of sleeping quarters. There's a bedroom, or there's a bed in here that's, it's a fine bed. Nothing super ornate, but it's quite a decent bed here. You do see on the bed, there appears to be a noble passed out. Maybe they had a little too much to drink and came up here. But they are pretty sound asleep on the bed here. Seems they made their way up here and zonked.
Okay.
Someone couldn't hold their liquor very well.
I'm just going to very quietly close the door again. I'd only opened it enough to peek in.
Okay. All right, Blossom, what about you? What are you looking into?
I'm gonna move over to this door and check inside that room.
Okay. So you go ahead. You open the door here and take a look into the room. Oh yeah, let me unmask that room here for you. Sorry. So you can see that one. This appears. This is a very plain room. Like there is a bed in here, but it's very very basic. Um, you see there is a trunk at the foot of the bed, and then just there's like a table and a chair. Nothing too particularly fancy.
Check the trunk.
Check the trunk. Okay. So you open up the trunk at the foot of the bed, and this appears to contain a number of linens and looks like servants' outfits for like with the insignia of the fellowship. So this appears to be some kind of like servants' quarters. Looks like.
Okay. I'm gonna close the trunk and I'm done with this room.
Okay, Zara.
I think I'm gonna move to this door and same thing, listen at the door.
Okay, perception. Okay. So you listen at this door. Again, you don't hear any voices or movement or anything. The door is also unlocked.
Okay. I open the door very slowly and peek in.
Okay. So you peek into this room, and the accommodations of this room are pretty lavish. Like the bed is kind of a very fine four-poster bed. There's some tapestries kind of covering along the wall, a large bookshelf. Looks very lived in. You see on like the opposite end of the room, there's like a door in a corner, and another door that's next to a window that looks to lead out to that patio that you guys had seen from the outside.
The one above the kitchen?
Yeah.
Okay. Coco, stop it. He is hyper. So, I guess I'm gonna go check this. This is the door that isn't the balcony, right?
This one on the corner. Yeah. So if you check, oh, that one.
Well, what is a door?
The ones that are like halfway into the wall are doors. So there's the one on the square to the north of you. That's the one that goes out to the patio, and then there's the other door on the other.
Okay, so this corner is the non-patio door?
Correct.
Okay, so this is the door I'm gonna check.
Okay. So you open up this door, and this appears to be a walk-in closet filled with quite a number of fine clothes. From looking through what you see in here, and just some of the insignia on some of the clothes, it appears that this room is the room for the speaker of the fellowship. So, the guy who was in the breastplate.
Okay. So, I'm just gonna leave. I don't want it to appear like I've touched anything.
Okay. All right, Blossom, what are you checking?
Going to this door up here.
Okay. Opening it right up or checking at the door at all?
Hmm.
I feel like if he's asking you, you should check.
As metagaming. No, I'm just gonna try to open it.
All right. All right, so this door also opens just fine. In here, you see what looks to be like the guild library, it seems. The walls are lined with bookshelves with various books and things that are on there, books, notebooks, things. There's a dormant fireplace on the northern wall. Against the back wall, there's also like a pretty nice like suit of armor there in the corner, and then along the southern end of this room are three pretty decently large desks, all with a variety of drawers.
I'm gonna start checking the desks.
Okay. So you kind of make your way across these desks, pulling open drawers in and out. First, when you check here, all the drawers come in and out without any issue. You see various, pens and paper and pencils and things kind of strewn in here. The middle desk, though, the large drawer under uh, the main chunk of the desk does not budge. This one appears to be locked. Some of the other drawers, like those little smaller drawers above the desk, those ones open just fine and contain various writing implements and ink and things like that. But the main drawer below it does not budge. The third desk, that one, like the first desk, appears to just be all unlocked. You find various papers, ledgers, writing implements and things like that. A few personal items. But yeah, the only one that's really of any note is that middle desk, which does appear to be locked.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to Zyara and tell her I think I found it, but we should check the other rooms to be safe.
Okay. So as you two are here at the top of the stairs, you both hear kind of giggling coming from up from down the stairs, and footsteps coming up the stairs your way. With this kind of, you hear like some kind of girlish giggling, and some other noises, kind of muffled speech, and footsteps that are making their way up the stairs.
I'm gonna point to one of the balcony doors and motion to go, go, go.
Do we want to leave without even trying to get it?
No, I'm thinking just hide out on the balcony real quick until, people come into a bedroom, leave.
So like going into like the little door to the north or the south, like one of those little rooms, one of the plain doors.
Or out onto the balcony, one of those, yeah.
Okay.
I was thinking the balcony because they're probably not going to go to the balcony.
But what if they go into the bedroom that the balcony is connected to?
As far as I understand, there's 2 balcony entrances and exits.
The balcony, at least from what Zyara saw, like the only entrance to the balcony is the one in the speaker's room that she just came out of.
Oh, okay.
And then, of course, falling off the balcony. But that's the only one with a door. So.
I am actually going to try and open this door right here.
Okay. So you check this door at the top of the stairs hurriedly. The giggles and the footsteps are getting louder as they seem to be almost coming around the corner at the landing of these stairs. This appears to be a storage closet. There's like linens and sheets and things in here.
Okay, I go in here and pull Blossom in after me.
Okay.
And we hide in here.
Okay. So you guys are both in the linen closet here. And you see coming up the stairs, like a male and female noble. Both seem to be fairly intoxicated and pretty handsy on each other as well, as they're coming up the stairs. Perhaps an affair or something going on. But they come up here kind of giggling, pawing at each other, and they don't really seem to be paying too much attention to anyone else. They're more interested in they seem to be more interested in getting to a bedroom. And they make their way. You kind of see peering through the crack or the keyhole in the door. They make their way towards that the bedroom number 3, mark number 3 on the map there.
Where the dude was passed out.
They do. So they seem to make their way in there. And you do wait in the closet because you remember that there is a guy passed out in there. Expecting that maybe they'll come back out. They don't. It seems maybe they shoved him out of the way and didn't care.
Pushed him out onto the balcony.
Yeah. Like you don't see anyone come out of the doors. But they seem to be in there doing whatever they're doing, and they did not notice you.
So, I'm gonna tell Blossom that we should try and get the tools and get the crap out of here. So I'm gonna go back into this room.
Okay.
Was it the middle one that was locked?
Correct. Yeah, Blossom did find that the middle one was the one that was locked.
Okay, so I'm gonna try and pick the lock.
Okay, go ahead and do a sleight of hand check as you try to pick that. All right. So you... excuse me. You kind of work your tools on this desk here for a little bit. And after a little bit of finagling, you do manage to hear a click as the lock in this turns, and you pull the drawer open to find a canvas sack that looks to have the markings of the League of Skinners and Tanners on it. And looking inside the sack, you do see what appear to be various leatherworking tools. So these do look to be the tools in question. Do you do anything else in this room as you're in here?
Well, I'm going to put that bag in my bag because I have like a nice velvet bag that I brought in to carry like my cards and my performance stuff.
Okay.
So I'm gonna put it in my bag so it looks less conspicuous, and maybe wrap it in like the cloth that I used to drape over the table to hide it.
Okay.
And I guess I turn to Blossom and say, do you have any other business in here, or should we leave? I think if we use rope, we could get down off of the balcony in one of the other bedrooms, or we could attempt to sneak back down the stairs.
Well, I should probably return to my work,
Okay.
so it's not too inconspicuous. Maybe you have a communication stone, right?
No, I have Boo's familiar.
Yeah, Boo's familiar is sitting on her shoulder.
So, what if you go down the stairs with the familiar, and then if the coast is clear, you can send the familiar back up, and I'll know that it's safe to go down.
Okay.
Okay. So while you guys are discussing this, Mix, Jinku, you guys are out in the stables and kind of, keeping an eye on things out there. And you notice, partway into the night, there's like the main kind of gates where you've been, where you brought in all the carts through. You see staggering through the gate, Horace, the brother of Tally, the guy who had his tools taken, the drunk, kind of bad at gambling brother who kind of got himself into this mess. And he is clearly just blasted, just completely wasted. And he makes his way through the gate here very loudly, kind of making a ruckus, cursing like the name of the guild here, and he starts kind of raising his fist towards the building and shouting about these tools of his that are missing, and that you're gonna kill my family, and how dare you. And he's just totally wasted. Clearly he got super drunk and was just pissed about the whole situation and decided to come down here and try to party crash. And so you two see him coming in here shouting up a Dickens about these tools that you were all here to try to get.
I'm gonna run over to him, making it look like I'm trying to keep him from a ruckus, and be like, "Here, try this. It's the strongest drink known to man." I had one of my vials.
Very, very nice. All right, so very nice. So Mix, you come over here. You pull out this vial of yours and hand it to him, and like I said, he's already pretty wasted and just happy to have some more something to drink and continue to vent himself. So he just chugs this thing. And, after he chugs it, he kind of like pats you and says, you're a good guy. And kind of stumbles his way a little farther towards the Gala. And he eventually just kind of crumples to the ground and just starts snoring loudly. Kind of an awkward position. He kind of crumpled to the ground. His face is in the dirt. His ass is kind of up in the air. He's just like he's a very out drunk, snoring loudly here behind the manor here. Do you guys do anything with him at all, or just leave him there?
No, I'll go pick him up and go put him somewhere a little less conspicuous.
Okay.
Maybe put him in a position where he doesn't look like a fucking idiot.
Okay. All right. When you're putting him, like, are you putting him somewhere here in the manor? Are you trying to take him back out the gate onto the street, or?
No, I'll take him out to the street.
Okay. Probably for the best.
Yeah, and if there's like any guards at the gate, I was like, I'm gonna get this drunk out of here. He doesn't need to cause any more problems.
Okay. So Mix, are you helping her with this, or are you staying in the stables while Jinku drags this guy out into the street?
No, Mix is gonna find something that he can write with and drop penis on the guy's face just to confirm it.
Right. All right. So you guys.
Jinko actually really supports that.
So drag him out into the street here, and kind of set him up against the wall here. He's still completely passed out, dick drawn on his face, and you guys turn back around and head back in through the gate. As you're coming back in through the gate, you look to your right, and you see kind of coming along the wall, Mr. Wugmump, this bullywug heading your way, kind of coming around the corner of the building. Mix, like, you still got your disguise on. Jinku, you're still yourself, pretty much. You got some rouge, but you're still an elephant.
Yeah, but she's a beautiful elephant.
Yeah, I'm beautiful.
So you see him kind of coming around the corner here as you guys are coming back in through the gate. Got to think fast.
I'll just kind of quickly say to Mix, you keep going. I'm gonna go back over to Dickface there and avoid a frog guy, and just gonna walk back over to the dude we just took out.
Okay. So you kind of quickly slip back out the gate. Mix heads in back to the stables there. Mr. Wuggamump, he comes up the wall here, and as he gets to the gate, he kind of glances around outside, but you managed to get Horace far enough away from the gate that behind a barrel or something, that he doesn't quite notice you. Roll a quick stealth check for me, Jinku, and to see if wonderful. Okay, so you've managed to kind of conceal yourself enough behind these barrels with Horace out here on the street, kind of at a by maybe a little stand nearby that's empty at the moment, and he doesn't seem to notice you and passes along by. And Mix, you see him continue making his way kind of around the stables and heading back around the other side of the building. So back upstairs, Blossom, Zyara, as you are getting ready to send this familiar and Blossom back downstairs, you roll a perception check for me real quick, both of you. All right, so both of you hear this kind of metallic creaking noise as you are as you're about to send Blossom out with this familiar, and you turn around and notice that the suit of armor in the corner is starting to move and is reaching for a weapon in its scabbard on the side of itself.
And I suppose just straight running isn't an option.
I mean, you can.
Plan B. Fire, fire, fire. Fire.
So go, you two go ahead and roll initiative here as this armor is coming to life.
Oh goody, the first 20 I've rolled is for initiative.
Fire, 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 fire.
All right, so Sarah, you are up first. You see this animated armor kind of creaking and coming to. It's got its this sword that was in its scabbard at its sides, starting to pull it out here. What are you doing?
Fire.
I can't set the kitchen on fire from up here.
Set this room on fire. It doesn't matter. Fire, as long as there's fire.
I am gonna try and do my guiding bolt.
Okay.
Wait. Isn't the familiar with us? Can't the
Yeah.
familiar tell quick to set the
Well,
kitchen on fire?
Well,
but that's not gonna distract this dude.
well. So I mean, like Boo had said earlier, like if he is like off, like by himself, he can like look through the familiar. But if he's like doing something else, like he can't see. Is that right, Boo? Like you can't see through the familiar unless you're like specifically off, not seeing yourself, but looking through the familiar's eyes.
Correct. I'd have to. I mean, I could probably do it while standing over a pot and just like zone out for a couple seconds at a time, but I'd have to actually.
Okay. So, I mean, aside from, like, in terms of familiars and, like, what the connection is between, like, you and your familiar, so, like, I know, like, you can't see through it unless you're, like, specifically trying to see through it, but, like, do you have, with connection of familiars, like, do you have any kind of, like, sense with it at all of, like, kind of what's going on around it, at least? Like, any sort of, like, mental connection to that? I'm not quite sure how that works with familiars or if they'd have to send it down to get you.
Let me see.
So basically, you're asking him if the familiar
Oh.
can just think stranger
No.
danger, and he'd
Okay,
know.
so how far away is this
So, where this
from
is...
me?
let's
How
see.
many feet?
Let's see.
Well,
5,
wouldn't
10,
we be like
15, 20.
right above and then like
This would be 5, 10, 50, 25, 30, 40. You would be about maybe 60, 70 feet ish. I can give you some leeway there.
I can communicate with it telepathically. Now, it takes an action to see and hear, but so that indicates that I have some sort of communication with it. Essentially, it's a fiend or a fae that I'm forcing into this shape. I think with Boo, he probably flips a coin as to what is bound inside of that. But so it's got to have some intelligence.
Okay.
But yeah, it looks like I can communicate with it telepathically. So
Okay.
that being said, I'd probably be it. I guess it might tell me. It's up to you.
Okay,
How
okay.
literal you want to be.
I would say at least like you don't know what it is, but you get a sense in your mind that something has started to hit the fan from your familiar. You aren't sure what, but something. So given that, Boo, what do you want to do with that information? Since it seems like something may be going awry.
So I kind of get what you're saying. I kind of maybe get like just kind of light emotion from it.
Yeah.
And right now I'm feeling
your
like a
spidey
little bit of
senses
danger.
tingling.
Yeah.
Like, can I tell the difference between like how wide is that scale that it can transmit to me of danger that it feels?
I mean,
I'm curious to how nervous it would make me feel.
I mean, I'd say it's kind of like a spidey sense of sorts. Like you just kind of get like like something's like you feel a little more alert. Like you're picking up, you're picking up some vibes here.
Okay, so I'll just quickly shoot through the stone. I'll say, stand by, guys. Something might be happening, and then I'll probably take an action or several actions to look through the eyes of my familiar and see what's happening.
Okay, go ahead and roll initiative for me, just so you're in the turns, and we'll do that when that comes up.
Cool.
Okay. Well, it looks like Boo, you're actually up first then.
I'm not fucking around when it comes to initiative.
So Boo, so you take a moment to look through your familiar's eyes, and you're sitting on Zara's shoulder, and Zara's looking right at this armor that is coming to life in the corner of this room.
I can't do anything.
You can still move.
I can move, and I can take the help action. So I will.
That's true.
I will hold my action. Well, I guess I'll help Zyara.
Okay. All right. Is that all you do in your turn then? Is help?
Yeah.
Okay. That brings us to Zara then. So here you are in this room. Blossom next to you here. You've got the tools in your bag and this armor waking up. What are you up to do?
I'm going to cast Guiding Bolt on the armor.
Okay. Go ahead and cast that. And it is a critical hit. So this, it seems that the adrenaline rush of this sudden shit hitting the fan has spurred something on in you here, and you cast this guiding bolt and critical hit on this armor. Go ahead and roll the damage on that. Holy cow. God damn.
Damn, holy shit.
Wow. So
I ain't fucking around, guys.
wow. So Zayara, and does that have any other effects? Doesn't that give people advantage against it? I think for the next turn.
It says a flash of light streaks toward a creature of your choice within range. Make a ranged spell attack. Blah 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 blah. The next attack roll made against this target before the end of your next turn has advantage.
Okay, so you'll want to click the effect button for that spell too, and that'll apply the effect for granting the advantage against that. So, all right, so that does significant damage to it. This thing was still pulling its weapon out here, and this kind of blasts it against the back wall, dealing heavy damage to it. You took a huge chunk out of its torso. You can see it's hollow. From this hole you blasted through it. It seems to be animated by some sort of magical means. And that brings us then to Blossom. So Zara's just blasted the hell out of this thing in the corner. And it's currently... And Guiding Bolt gives it kind of like a glow, right? So it gives advantage. What color is that?
Glows.
Is it purple?
Yeah.
Of course it's purple. Okay. So yeah, so this armor is kind of against the wall right now, still trying to recover a little bit. Glowing purple from Zara's hit. What are you up to, Blossom?
I really want to start a fire. How loud was this guiding bolt blast?
I'd say it was fairly loud, but you're also in a room with a lot of kind of dampening effects in here. Because, there's lots of books, leather, paper, the walls are all these bookshelves. And, some of the books got a little rumpled from this. Some of them fell off the bookshelves. But they took a fair bit of the sound. And the door was closed behind you. So it doesn't seem to have gone too far out of the room from what you can tell. It was pretty loud for you guys in here, but it seemed to dampen pretty quickly from all of the furniture.
I mean,
and the
like,
books.
can we hear the crowd downstairs?
Yeah, I'd say like dimly because you have the door shut, but you can kind of dimly hear the kind of hubbub of laughter.
Okay,
and
so then I would think it'd be safe to say they could have dimly heard that blast.
Yeah, they could have if they were at the back half of the hall, or if there were people going past the stairs. They probably may have heard something of a sort. But if they were like out in the middle of the hall, like the main bulk of the crowd, they wouldn't have heard anything. But anybody kind of towards the back half, towards the kitchens, they might have heard some sort of noise. It's hard to tell because you were in here with it.
I mean, either way, we need to get rid of this thing so we can get out.
It's magic. I don't know how to deal with magic. I know how to kill stuff.
So stab it.
Yeah, you can still smack it with your weapons. I mean, it may be animated by magic, but that doesn't mean you can't hurt it with hitting it with something blunt or large or sharp.
This thing's on the ground incapacitated, right?
It's not prone, but it's kind of like up against the wall because like it got blasted against the wall, so it's kind of like trying to recover, but it's got like a pretty massive hole through its torso. Like if this was
it's just a set of armor, right?
Yeah.
Yep, you can see it's hollow. Like if this was a person,
Get advantage.
yeah, and you do get advantage on attacks right now because of the guiding bolt.
And there's a chimney, right?
There is a dormant
You said
fireplace.
there was a fireplace?
Yep, there is a dormant fireplace against the northern wall. It's that kind of a solid black object as a fireplace.
Okay. So while this thing is trying to recover, I want to run up to it, take the weapon arm part of the armor off, and I want to try to shove it up the chimney.
Okay, all right. Roll a strength check for me as you try to yank off like the gauntlet part with the weapon and kind of wrench it off of this. All right, very nice. So you run up to this thing as it's kind of trying to pull itself up off the wall. You grab onto like the lower part of its arm that's currently kind of gripped onto its sword, and you yank that thing. And it seems to have been weakened enough by the hole that got blasted through it that there's a little bit of resistance as you try to pull it off, but you manage to yank this off. So you currently have a gauntlet with a sword attached to it that it had grabbed. So you're just kind of holding this in your arms right now. And you said you just shove that up the chimney?
Yeah, as far as I can get it up that chimney. Yes.
Okay. So taking this, you turn back around and, kind of push aside, like some of the ashen logs that are in here and jam that thing up there pretty good. From what you can tell, like you kind of jiggle a little bit, like it seems pretty well stuck. So it's going to take some effort to get it back out of there. Do you do anything else?
Well, I'll say this. I'm pretty sure that thing's going to want to reassemble itself, so that should give us some time.
Okay.
So that's my train of thought right now. That should give us some time.
Okay. All right. This was at the end of your turn then?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So that brings us to the armor here. And so this armor, it got blasted against the wall. Its arm is missing. It kind of pulls itself up off the wall and kind of looks down at itself kind of confusedly, expecting that there would be an arm with a sword that it could hit things with. And it moves towards the middle of the room since it saw where you put it and tries to wrench this thing out of the fireplace. And let me do a... And it does not manage to. With its other arm, it doesn't seem to quite have enough force at the moment with its remaining arm to get it. Like, it jiggles it a bit, but it doesn't seem to come out at all. And that is all that it does on its turn, which brings us back around. Looks like it's Blossom. You're up again. Thank you for that subscribe, Pro Yeet King. Thanks for stopping by. So Blossom, this animated armor is in front of you here, kind of bending itself into the fireplace to try to wrench this arm you yanked off of it. It's kind of still in the process of that right now. So are you trying to attack it at this point, or are you trying to make your way out?
Yeah, I'd say we should try to make our way out of the room.
Okay.
I guess my worry is that if we leave it, it's going to notify people downstairs.
That's a fair assumption.
Because clearly someone enchanted it.
So, what, disassemble it more?
Just knock it. It's already heavily damaged.
Yeah, like it like with the hole that got blasted through it by Zara, like it's looking pretty beat up.
Like, if you get one good hit on it, you could probably kill it.
And you do still have advantage against it right now because of the guiding bolt.
Okay, well, here's the thing.
It says it expired.
Oh, did it? Oh, yeah, it expired because the turn ended. Okay, that's right.
Okay. But this thing is trying to get its arm back?
It is. It tried last time. It didn't seem to quite have enough force.
Okay, so, I mean, I would say, I'm going to argue it's distracted and we'd have advantage on attacks.
All right. That's fair. I'll give you that.
That being said, because we're doing a job, I'm going to say I also didn't probably bring my great axe. Kind of hard to hide that.
That is also fair. But I would say that there are some weapons mounted above the fireplace that you could make use of, since you don't have your great axe right now.
Okay, I'll grab a weapon and attack it then.
Okay. Like we'll say, we'll say it's like a pretty large sword, so it'll have similar damage to what your great axe has. So go ahead and just roll for that. It just happens to be like a kind of ornate sword that was mounted above the fireplace. We'll give that to you.
What? Why is it not attacking the guy?
You
I
have
drop
to
it on
target.
the icon. I can't just drop the dice on the thing on the screen?
You
You
should.
don't have it targeted.
Oh, you should be able to. Let me.
I've never ever targeted.
Okay, I targeted it for you. Go ahead and roll. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Did you click the advantage button down in the bottom left corner, the ADV, and roll that again since you had advantage? Okay, sweet. Thank you. All right, so you swing this kind of ornate sword that was hanging mounted above the mantelpiece here, down on this armor that's kind of distracted, trying to grab its arm out of the fireplace, and she shoved it up there. And you crack it pretty much square on the back of its helmet. And go ahead and roll the damage on that. All right. So as you smack this thing on the back of its head, this armor seems to crumple into pieces. Like the other arm falls away. The pauldrons the remains of the breastplate, what's left of it from the hole that got blasted, and the leg pieces, they all kind of fall to the floor, clattering a little bit. It's a little muffled because there's a rug in here, but they kind of fall to pieces on the floor, and appears to be gone. Which brings us to Boo. So you see. Are you still looking through your familiar, Boo, or are you doing something else at this point down in the kitchen?
I kind of was thinking about that, and I think probably every other turn I'd be checking into the kitchen, making sure like I'm not zombied out for too long.
Okay.
So I'm probably not doing anything
This time.
this turn.
Okay. All right. So you're busying yourself in the kitchen, trying to make yourself not obvious. All right, Zara.
We need to get out of here.
Right.
So I guess now that this thing is taken care of,
Mm-hmm.
I go out in the hall.
Okay. All right. So you make your way out into the foyer here. And, like you said, there's all these, kind of large rugs all over the floor and runners and stuff. And as you step out onto this large rug that kind of fills up this whole corner, roll a strength save for me.
How do I do that?
It should be on the main page of your character sheet. The saves
okay.
should be on the right-hand side. Okay. So as you step out onto this rug, you feel what feels like the corner of the rug kind of wrapping around your leg as you step on it. And like you look down kind of in surprise. And as you look down, the rest of this rug kind of wrenches itself up off the floor and wraps itself around you, Zara.
Shit.
So you're currently grappled by this large throw rug that was on the floor. Let me make that visible for you here. And like Blossom, you hear this. Like the door's open because Zara went out of it, and you see her get enveloped by this rug that had been just sitting on the floor before. Which brings us to... Wait, that armor's dead, so let me remove him here. Boo, have you... When you weren't looking through the familiar, have you related anything through the sending stones at all? What's going on, or no?
Well, he did say that.
No, I did tell him earlier, but that.
Okay, that's fair. All right. So that brings us then to the rug. So this rug is wrapped around you, Zara. Yet you feel very constricted in this rug. It's kind of dusty too. You kind of cough a little bit at this thing, and you feel this rug kind of tighten around you. And it attempts to seemingly kind of strangle you a bit in itself. And it does manage to do so, and does a little bit of damage to you in the process. You feel yourself being crushed in this rug that has wrapped itself around you. Blossom. It's now your turn. You see Zara here wrapped up in this rug on the floor, kind of struggling, gasping a bit. What are you doing?
Okay, I'm gonna grab the rug and Zara and yank them back into this room and close the door.
Okay. Go ahead and do a strength check for me there, as you try to wrench them. Okay. So you managed to get a good grip on this rug, and the floor is tile, and so it's fairly easy to pull something across because it's fairly smooth. And you manage to yank the two of them into this room, or at least most of them. So like Zara, you go ahead and move your. Well, I'll move you into the space. The rug. It's a pretty large rug because it covered 4 squares, but like the half of the rug that's around that Zara's stuck in, you have inside the door. The other half is still kind of spilling out of the door, so you don't manage to get the door shut. But you have the piece of the rug that Zayara's caught in. You manage to drag that um, in with you here. All right. Do you do anything else on your turn here? That took your action, but if you have any like bonus actions or anything, I'm not sure.
Um, no.
Okay. All right. So that brings us down to Zara. Zara, go ahead and give me a strength check as you're trying to wriggle out of this rug here. All right. So you manage to get enough of a grip on the edge of the rug weaving here, and manage to wriggle your way out of this rug's grasp for the moment. Is there anything else that you do on your turn here?
What else can I do?
I mean that took your action, but if you have any like bonus action stuff, um,
And
I don't think
yeah, and you have movement as well.
I don't think I have any bonus actions.
Okay.
Um,
Do you try to move at all?
well, if I try and move past it, won't it be able to attack me again?
At this point, no, just because you've managed to get out of its grapple. I'd say if you're trying to like you wriggled out of this rug, like if you want to try to move past it here, it wouldn't get another grab at you at that moment. I wouldn't say.
Okay, then I'm gonna move out of the room.
Okay. All right. So you kind of make your way towards the stairs there. All right. So the rug. Give me Blossom. Give me a strength save, as this rug tries to wrap itself around your leg here. If you're there. Perfect. All right, so you feel this, Zara got her way out of this rug, and you feel it, its tassels around the corner, kind of reaching its way towards your leg here, and you manage to kind of kick it away and resist this grapple that it's trying to do on you. Boo, you're down in the kitchen, checking back in.
Yeah, I'll probably check in and see that the rug is not. I probably wouldn't really notice anything. I guess I'd notice that the thing was probably nervous or feeling danger, but the rug's not on anybody, so it's probably just kind of on the floor, or maybe wrinkled up or something.
Yeah,
I doubt I'm that concerned. Nobody's bleeding, so.
Yeah, like from what you can see from Zayara's shoulder, like you see that this rug that was on the floor is like halfway through an open door, and you see Blossom on the other side. But I mean, for all you know, it's just a rug.
I'm not all that concerned at the moment.
Okay.
I'll just pass my turn.
All right, Zara.
I guess I'm going to ask Blossom if he thinks we should try and fight this or run.
I mean,
Because we have a path to the balcony above the kitchen if we wanted to try and run.
we do, but again, as you stated with the armor, magical item, wouldn't it not alert someone?
Maybe.
Better to
though,
shove this thing.
I'm
Better to shove this thing in the chimney and set it on fire.
Really want to set a fire.
I do.
How about this? I will try and set the rug on fire with some sacred flame. Will that make you happy?
Fire away.
No, not right now. It's kind of halfway in the door. We need that door to get out.
I'm not going back in the room.
Well, so what you could do if you were wanting to try to shove this thing in the chimney as much as you could and light it on fire, and you didn't want to do it this turn, and Boo did something like this before. There is an action called Help, where you can say that you and Blossom are going to help each other shove this thing in this room and kind of work together on that. So that is something you could do if you're going to try to scoot this thing in this room and deal with it that way.
I'm assuming that would also give me the opportunity to get out of the room.
Yeah, like if you two were trying to grabbing both ends of this, trying to bunch it and shove it in here, like that would give you a chance to get out as well on your turn, of course, as a movement. But she could help you move this thing.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So what I'll have you guys do when we get to Blossom's turn, we'll have you both roll strength checks with advantage because you're helping each other, and do what we need to do to this rug.
Quick question,
Yeah.
because it's going to happen on my turn. Can I rage, which gives me advantage, and get super advantage?
I'm not quite sure how that would work. I mean, if it's already advantage, like you can't really go much more advantage than that. I don't think it stacks.
I just described much more than that.
We'll say this, okay, because there isn't really a super advantage. But if you are, we'll say if you're helping each other drag this in there, and you rage in the process of this, I'll give you a chance to I'll say we'll call that like we'll give you like an action surge, I'll say. And so in addition to, since Ayara is helping you with this, you'll be able to do something else, like set it on fire, for example, or or something else. So we'll say we'll give you an action surge there. I'll let you have that. Because that sounds interesting. Okay. So, with that then, Boo, just doing your thing in the kitchen, I assume? Okay. Alright. So, Blossom, so on your turn, you two are helping each other, and you manage to drag this carpet, and it kind of flops a bit as you guys are dragging it in there. Make both of you make a strength check for me here.
With advantage?
Yeah, with advantage. That you're helping each other. Very nice. Not so nice, but Zara kind of makes up for that on her end. She seems to do the bulk of the work.
Have that adrenaline rage going on.
Yeah, seems so. Like you're very invested in pushing this thing through the door.
Very invested in not getting arrested.
Yes. So you manage to get this in there and shove as much of it as you can into the fire. Like a good bit of it you get up the flue, and the rest of it is kind of in a wrinkled mess, kind of among the ashes and logs that are at the base of the fireplace. So it's all of it is at least in the fireplace area. And so, Blossom, you said that you rage at this.
Yes.
And we'll give you an action surge from that help, we'll say, and go ahead and do whatever it is you're going to do here, because that sounds fun.
Okay, so I'm assuming there's a candle or lantern in this room that's burning.
Well, if you have an adventurer's kit, you probably have something to light a fire, right?
Yeah, you would have some implements to light a fire, and there's also some just like in this room near the fireplace.
Not. I'm a nudist.
Oh, that's true.
I have my billowing cloak and my great axe and this stupid clothing.
There are.
I don't have no kits.
So there are implements, near the fireplace that they would use to start the fire. So you do see like kind of a little bucket of sorts that has some fire starting tools in it that they would use to light this when they're in here. So you can use those.
I'll grab those and use those.
All right.
I'm setting this rug on fire.
All right. So you grab one of the tassels in the corner of this rug here, and it's still kind of struggling a bit here in this chimney, and you manage to light these tassels on fire. All right. And so do you move out of the room at that?
Yes.
Close the door.
Okay.
Out of the room and close the door.
All right. So you two are both out of the room now. So this rug stuck in the chimney. It continues to burn, and it isn't really able to do much else. You aren't able to see it anymore with the door shut. All right, Boo. What are you up to down there? More of the same? Checking in?
Tasting whatever I'm eating.
All right.
Or whatever I'm cooking. Gotta
All
make
right.
sure it tastes good. Is it salted right?
Yeah.
Bam.
It's well enough. All right. So, Blossom, you guys are now out in the foyer here. Rug is behind you, burning in the fireplace. Where do you guys head?
Down the stairs or out the balcony? Which way should we go?
I should return to doing my job to not make it look suspicious.
Okay. Did we want to go with the original plan of having the minion come back to me if it was safe for me to go down?
That seems like a good plan.
Because then it just follows you down the stairs.
Yeah,
Sure.
you can't tell me the plan changed, and it probably wouldn't listen to you. So
Right.
Yep, sure, we'll do that. So I'll
Okay.
just head back downstairs.
Okay, Blossom, roll a stealth check for me as you're coming down the stairs as you try to kind of slip back into, the crowd here, kind of dusting yourself off a bit and kind of looking like you're going back to what you're doing. All right. So you make your way down the stairs, like you kind of peer around the corner of the landing here and kind of wait for an opening and, slip in behind, one of the other servers as they go past and, make your way into the kitchen. You see Boo there, working away at, something or other. You also see the head chef Miel at some point come over, see her bop boo once with the spoon, and you grab one of the trays here, and kind of make your way back into the crowd, doing your work here. All right, we'll say we're out of combat now. So let's end that. So Zayara, so Blossom's gone downstairs. You're still waiting up here in the foyer. After a few minutes, you do eventually see the small blue little weird thing coming back up the stairs, kind of darting up the landing here, and makes its way to you. So you seem to know that the coast is clear, it seems.
Okay. So I'm gonna sneak back down to the main floor as well.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a stealth check for me as you head down the stairs here. Very nice. All right, so you also manage to kind of slip back in with the crowd, and you make your way back over, to the kind of entertainers corner in the main. Oh, okay. Where are you going?
No.
Tell me where you're going.
I am going back into the kitchen to leave.
Okay, so you're going that way. All right, so you make your way back into the kitchen. You pass Blossom along the way. He's heading back out to the main hall, carrying a tray of something or other.
And let the minion go back to Boo.
Okay, so you pass through the kitchen, perhaps grabbing a Danish or something off of a tray as you walk past, passing the familiar back to Boo as he continues working at his little corner there. And you make your way out the back door of the kitchen. So you're now outside the manor. So, at this point, so Mix, Jinku, you guys have been chilling over in the stable. You haven't really heard any word from anyone in a while, so you hope that's good news, at least from what you assume. And you're sitting here, kind of shooting the shit with some of the other valets that were hired here, maybe playing some cards, something like that. And you, after a few moments, you hear a little bit of a commotion coming from the direction of the manor. And Mix, you see someone kind of running out of the door, yelling about smoke from the second floor. That seems to be going on. And, you two kind of look at Mix, you and Jinku kind of look at each other here. Seeing this happen, like, what are you two thinking at this moment? Somebody's running out of here yelling about smoke. You haven't heard from anybody in a while.
Well, I guess they had to use Plan B.
It seems they did. Do you head anywhere, Jinku, seeing these people starting to kind of run out of the main hall?
I think just kind of to remain inconspicuous, just kind of help direct people towards the exit, so they can get away from the building.
Okay. Roll a perception check for me here real quick. Okay. So you are here, you and Mix are kind of directing people as they come out. It doesn't seem like there is much of a blaze. Like, you don't see any, like, flames, but it seems there's quite a bit of smoke. So, assumedly, like, you don't know this, but, this rug that's been stuffed halfway up a chimney here, God knows how dirty it is. It may not burn the best, but it sure as hell smokes a lot. And it seems to have kind of filled the room up there with smoke, which has kind of made its way, kind of under the door out into the foyer, and is kind of starting to spill around. People are starting to smell this, notice this going on. So in the bustle of all this, like, you turn around among all this, and you find yourself face to face with Mr. Wuggamump among all of this. And he kind of he seems a little bit agitated that something has gone on at this gala of his, and he kind of looks at you and kind of pauses for a moment, and then after a moment his eyes kind of widen, and he kind of raises one of his fingers and he says, "I recognize you from," and he's kind of like fumbling, trying to think of where he recognizes you from. Jinku, what are you doing?
Sir, I've never met you in my life. Now, please, I need to help get these people away from this smoke. And I'm gonna walk away and keep directing people.
He must have recognized you from your modeling career.
It was a very dark time.
Oh, and as you turn to walk away, like you kind of make this smug remark and turn to walk away. This reminds him of the interaction he had with you the other day, with a smug, kind of sassy Loxodon speaking to him, and he kind of like raises both of his hands up in kind of startled surprise and says, "Wait! You were with that group yesterday! You must be the cause of all this commotion going on." And he hurriedly rushes off somewhere, assumedly to grab some other assistance. So, Mix, you're seeing all this. You're standing nearby with Jinku. It seems he's recognized the sadly obvious one of you, finally.
I'm gonna ask if it's done through the stone.
Okay. Boo, do you
Yes.
respond? Okay.
It's and Zyra got away, right?
At
I
the
got out of the building at least.
Yeah, Zyar is currently behind the kitchen, so people are milling past. Zyar, you actually see Mr. Wuggamump here. He dashes past you towards like the front side of the manor where like the fountain and the statues were, because that's like where some of the other guards were at. You see him book it past you in that direction, seemingly very agitated. And you kind of look the other way, and you see, Jinku kind of sticks out from the crowd, and you see her standing out there, and Mix nearby. What do you assume anything from this situation at all?
I'm gonna look at Jinku and be like, "You were seen out here in the stables the whole time. Nobody else was recognized."
Well, I'm kind of hard to disguise. I am freaking huge.
I'm gonna communicate to Boo.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be like, Jinku cover blown. Everyone needs to discreetly disappear.
Okay.
Got it.
Okay. Blossom, you're coming back into the kitchen at this point with the tray. Here's Boo. Like he looks up at you. What do you relay this information? And what are you and Blossom, what are you and Boo doing here at this point? You've just got this message from Mix.
I'll say it's time to go, bud. Do you want to go first? I'll wait a minute and then.
Shall we set a big fire?
We already set a
I think
fire.
there's probably commotion enough. I don't.
You guys are both smelling quite a bit of smoke. Like Blossom, when you were coming back from the front room there with that tray, kind of making your way amongst the commotion, you saw quite a fair bit of smoke kind of just spilling down the stairs. You kind of smiled to yourself seeing this. Seems like things have gone well upstairs after you left.
Let's focus on getting out of here as quick as we can. Mix and Jinku are already trying to leave with Sayara on her way out. I think we could probably get out of here pretty quick if we act fast.
Okay.
All right, yeah, let's just book it out of here.
Okay. So do you guys just head out the kitchen door here? All right. So
I'm gonna
you.
knock a pot or something over on my way out.
All right. All right. So yeah, as you're rushing out here, you kind of definitely stick a foot out and kick one of the stands that's holding up one of these pots of some liquid or other, and it spills across the floor. Miel kind of shouts angrily and chucks a spoon in your direction, yelling, "Watch where you're going there!" And you guys run out the back of the kitchen door. Sarah's still standing there. She, it's.
Did I?
Oh yeah, go ahead, Sarah.
Do I have to have been standing there? Because once I left that kitchen, I was probably
Okay.
going straight back to the manor.
Oh, back to Troll Skull. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you two come out of the kitchen then, and
Playing around, guys.
so as you two come out of the kitchen, looking to your left out the door, you see this bullywug and two guards just like charging their way along the wall towards you. And to your right, you see Mix and Jinku here. There's also the gate for the back gate for the stables nearby. Do all four of you just book it out of there?
Sure. That
Okay.
sounds
Yeah.
like a good idea.
Okay. So you guys dash your way out of this back stable, or the stable gate here, and onto the street. And you guys start kind of making your way up the street as quick as you can among these crowds of among the people. And you continue to hear shouting behind you, and eventually you see a carriage kind of burst out of the back gate here. A horse-drawn carriage. This bullywug is at the helm of this carriage, coming up the street after you guys, and you guys are dashing as fast as you can up the streets of Waterdeep here, and you make it to you guys are heading up. Let me bring the Waterdeep map back up here. So you guys are heading west up Coach Street towards the high road, and you make it to the high road, and as you're standing at this this intersection, kind of looking left and right and which way to go to try to lose this guy, this carriage pulls up from the south, and you look up at the person sitting at the reins of it, and they're wearing kind of a large oversized top hat, and they kind of tip it up at you, and you recognize the face of Squiddly, and he looks at you here, and he kind of smiles at you all and looks back up the street and sees this bullywug coming after you, and he says, I think you guys might need a ride out of here, huh? Get in. We're not the best drivers, but we'll do what we can."
The Jiku is already getting in.
All right. So you guys pile onto this carriage. Jinku, you're kind of grabbing onto the back. Some of you, the rest of you, are trying to pile in here. And inside the carriage, you find Nat and Jenks as well, kind of waiting for you here. They had been outside, kind of. Nat kind of shows you a pocket full of change that they had managed to get off of people running stuff outside the manor while you guys were in there. And you guys take off up the high road with this cart and manage to get away. And all the way up the high road, you head all the way up through the Waterdeep until you get up to the north end of town in the North Ward, and kind of pull off, kind of ditch the carriage at the side of the road. Who knows where the kids got it, and make your way back to Troll Skull. It seems you have gotten away with this.
Let's
I'm very
let's
curt
roll-
with the children. I'm angry with them. They stole a carriage. I told them not to do anything illegal.
I'm gonna be the complete opposite. I'm giving them praise.
So is Jinku.
Squiddly says, kind of raises his hand. We only borrowed it. It's still there. They can come get it.
I'm gonna look at the kids and be like, treats for all of you tomorrow.
All right. So I think with that, making it back to Troll School, that seems like a good spot to stop for tonight. You managed to pull it off, despite all the shit hitting the fan. Very nice. Good planning. One heist down.
That was a good one. That was fun.
Yeah, it was.
That was a lot of fun. Nice work, you guys. All right. Well, for all you who stopped by the stream, thanks for tuning in. We will see you guys in 2 weeks.